The world as you once knew it is beginning to lose its solid grip on your senses, and the material pursuits that once filled your days with frantic energy now seem like distant echoes of a life that no longer fits who you are. This sensation of detachment is not a symptom of despair or a withdrawal from reality. Rather, it is the profound awakening of the soul as described in the enduring wisdom of Allan Kardec, signaling that your spiritual essence is preparing for its eventual return to the world of light. For a mature consciousness, the realization that we are but temporary residents in a physical shell brings a quiet but intense clarity that shifts the focus from the temporary to the eternal. You may feel a silent internal call, a vibration that resonates in the core of your chest, reminding you that your true identity is a spark of the infinite, momentarily dressed in the heavy garments of the flesh. As we explore the deep transformation occurring within you, understand that this is the most precious privilege a spirit can receive, the ability to consciously perceive its immortality while still walking the earth. This script will guide you through the expansion of your awareness, helping you to understand that the thinning of the veil is a natural progression for those who have learned the lessons this school has to offer. The transition you sense is not an end, but a magnificent beginning, a graduation from the dense vibrations of matter into the liberating expanse of the spiritual realm. As the spirit approaches the completion of its earthly mission, a profound psychological shift occurs, where the magnetism of material objects begins to fail entirely. You look at the grand house, the expensive car, and the titles of social status that you spent decades acquiring, and instead of pride, you feel a strange, liberating indifference, as if you are looking at stage props after a play has ended. Allan Kardec taught that the soul carries into the afterlife only its intellectual and moral progress, leaving behind everything that belongs to the earth, and you are beginning to feel this truth in your bones. This detachment is not born of laziness or defeat, but of an advanced spiritual intelligence that understands the futility of carrying heavy luggage into a journey of flight. You may find yourself naturally thinning out your possessions, giving away what you no longer need, and feeling a deep thirst for experiences that feed the spirit rather than the ego. Your value system is being radically rewritten. A conversation filled with genuine empathy now holds more weight for you than a promotion or a financial gain. This is the soul conducting a final inventory, clearing the energy field of material distractions so that it may vibrate at a frequency compatible with the higher planes. You are realizing that true wealth is invisible, consisting of the love you have cultivated and the patience you have exercised under pressure. This internal cleaning is often intense, forcing you to confront the reality that nothing you can touch will cross the threshold with you, leaving only the quality of your being as your passport to the world of spirits. When the physical body sleeps, the spirit does not remain dormant but partially recovers its freedom, often venturing into the spiritual dimensions to meet with those who have already made the crossing. You may have experienced dreams that feel more real than your waking life, where you encounter loved ones who have passed, and the interaction is so vivid that you can feel the texture of their presence and the depth of their gaze. These are not mere fragments of your imagination or subconscious desires. As Kardec noted, they are real spiritual emancipations where the soul communicates with its companions of light. You wake up with a sense of peace that is irrefutable, a quiet certainty that death is an illusion and that life continues with even greater intensity on the other side. These visits serve to comfort the soul, reminding it of its true home and providing the necessary strength to finish the final steps of the earthly journey without fear. They act as codes of light etched into your consciousness, altering your perspective on loss and grief, turning what was once a source of pain into a source of hope. You start to understand that the barrier between the worlds is paper thin and that your family of the spirit is actively assisting in your preparation for the transition. These nightly excursions provide a preview of the reality that awaits, making the prospect of the return familiar and welcoming rather than terrifying. You are being trained to recognize the frequency of the spiritual world, so that when the final moment arrives, it will feel as natural as waking up from a dream. A clear sign that your vibration is rising toward the spiritual plane is the sudden and absolute inability to maintain feelings of resentment or the desire for justice through conflict. You may find that old grudges, which you carried for years as heavy shields, simply evaporate, replaced by a profound and sometimes confusing sense of compassion for those who have wronged you. This is the spirit purifying itself, for as the Kardecist doctrine suggests, resentment is a low-frequency vibration that binds the soul to the lower astral planes. You realize that to fly high, you must release the anchors of hate, and thus forgiveness becomes a necessity for your own liberation rather than a favor to the other person. You find yourself mentally wishing well to enemies and feeling a genuine urge to reconcile where possible, not out of weakness, but out of spiritual maturity. This moral cleanliness extends to your own self-perception as you stop torturing yourself for past mistakes and start treating your own soul with the same mercy you extend to others. The internal noise of judgment goes quiet, leaving room for a serene silence that allows you to hear the subtle guidance of your mentors. You are settling your karmic debts with a sense of urgency, seeking to leave the earth with a clean ledger, ensuring that your transition is unburdened by the weight of unresolved emotional conflict. This purification process is often painful because it requires complete honesty, but the result is a lightness of being that makes you feel almost transparent to the light of the divine. As you align your heart with the spiritual purpose of your life, the external world begins to react with a precision that defies the laws of chance. You start to notice that the universe is speaking to you through meaningful coincidences, where the right person appears exactly when needed, or a random book provides the answer to a question you only whispered in your mind. These synchronicities are the language of the spiritual world, signals from your guides that you are on the right path, and that the grand orchestration of life is looking after you. Allan Kardec spoke of the constant influence of spirits on the material world, and you are now experiencing this influence as a constant rhythmic dialogue. The timing of events in your life becomes so perfect that you stop feeling anxiety about the future, trusting that everything will manifest at the precise moment required for your growth. This flow of events acts as a confirmation of your spiritual awakening, proving that you are part of a massive, living web of consciousness that responds to your intention and vibration. You stop fighting against the current of life and start to move with it, observing how every challenge contains a hidden gift and every encounter a lesson. The frequency of these events increases as you move closer to the transition, as if the universe is holding your hand through the final stages of the curriculum. You are learning to read the invisible signs, trusting the internal compass that points toward the eternal rather than the temporary logic of the human mind. There are moments when a sudden and overwhelming sense of homesickness washes over you, but it is a nostalgia for a place that your current body has never visited. This nostalgia for the future is the soul's memory of the spiritual home from which it descended to undergo the trials of reincarnation. You may feel this ache while looking at a sunset or listening to a piece of music, a hunger for a purity of love and a depth of peace that the earth can never fully satisfy. Kardec's teachings remind us that we are travelers in a foreign land and that our true citizenship belongs to the world of light. This longing is a healthy signal that you are finished with the attractions of this dense dimension and that you are mentally and emotionally packing your bags for the return. It is not a rejection of life, but an acknowledgement that the earthly school has fulfilled its purpose and you are ready for the next level of existence. This feeling creates a calm tsunami within your heart, allowing you to walk through the world with a gentle distance, participating in events but not being defined by them. You realize that the suffering and limitations of physical life are merely a brief fog that will disappear the moment you cross the threshold. This homesickness becomes a source of immense strength, as it reminds you that the love you seek is waiting for you in its purest form, and that the separation from your true home is almost at an end. The mature spirit finds it increasingly impossible to participate in the charades of social life, feeling a physical discomfort in the presence of lies, pretense, or superficiality. You find that the masks you wore for decades, the professional persona, the social pleaser, the stoic provider, are melting away, leaving behind an authentic core that demands total honesty. This shift is part of the soul's depuration, as in the higher planes of existence. Thoughts are transparent and nothing can be hidden behind physical appearances. You begin to speak your truth with a clarity that might surprise others, no longer fearing judgment, because you are only concerned with the judgment of your own conscience. This drive for authenticity often results in a change of social circles, as you can no longer tolerate relationships based on vanity or gossip, seeking instead the company of those who speak the language of the soul. You stop trying to fit in and start living as a true representative of your spirit, accepting your flaws and strengths with a humble realism. This honesty is a preparation for spiritual life, where you will exist in a state of absolute transparency, and practicing it now aligns your vibration with the worlds of truth. The energy once spent on maintaining a false image is now redirected towards serving others and nurturing your inner peace. You are becoming a beacon of genuine light, proving that the closer a spirit is to its return, the more it mirrors the unadulterated essence of the divine within. You may experience a period where your external life seems to be contracting, as if doors that were once open are being firmly shut by an unseen hand. Promising projects may fail, old career paths might end without warning, or long-standing roles may be taken from you, leaving you standing in a void. From a material perspective, this looks like bad luck or loss, but from a spiritual perspective, it is the universe strategically closing off earthly distractions to force your focus onto your final mission. Allan Kardec highlighted that spirits are often guided away from paths that no longer serve their evolution, and you are experiencing this guidance as a series of forced exits. These closures are an act of mercy, preventing you from becoming re-entangled in earthly affairs that would hinder your transition. As the old paths disappear, you will find that a single, luminous window remains open, a path of service, of wisdom, or of family reconciliation. This is where your remaining energy must be directed. The universe is guiding you into a bottleneck of pure purpose, ensuring that you finish your time on Earth with maximum efficiency. Trust the process of demolition occurring in your life, for something higher and more durable is being built in the invisible realms. Each closed door is a sign that you have completed that specific lesson and that you are being funneled toward the ultimate exit from the material cycle. As the spirit detaches from the rhythms of the flesh, the human perception of linear time begins to fracture, and you find yourself living increasingly in the present moment. The past no longer carries the weight of regret, and the future loses its power to create anxiety, as you realize that life is an eternal sequence of now. You may find yourself staring at simple objects for long periods, lost in the sheer wonder of existence, or feeling that a few hours have passed in what seemed like minutes of silent prayer. This atemporal state is a reflection of the spiritual reality where time is not measured by the sun and moon, but by states of consciousness. You are practicing for the afterlife, where progress is eternal and the concept of ending does not exist. This shift allows you to perform your daily tasks with a focus and love that you never possessed when you were rushing toward future goals. You inhabit your conversations, your walks, and your rest with a total presence that makes life feel dense with meaning. The urgency to do is replaced by the profound peace of being, and you find that in this stillness, you receive direct insights and inspirations from higher intelligences. You are transcending the biological clock, realizing that while your body may age, your spirit remains a timeless fire that is about to emerge into a dawn that never fades. There is a moment in the spiritual journey where all religions and philosophies melt away, leaving only the raw, universal truth of the spirit's survival. You begin to recognize the wisdom of ancient traditions, feeling a deep kinship with the shamans, the monks, and the sages who spoke of the same transition you are currently undergoing. This is the activation of your spiritual memory, where the lessons of previous incarnations begin to surface, providing you with a calm understanding of life's complexity. You no longer need to read books to know that love is the supreme law. You feel it as a living force within your chest. This inner knowing provides a shield against the chaos of the world, as you realize that the turmoil of the material realm is a necessary friction for the polishing of the diamond that is the soul. You look at humanity not with judgment, but with the weary and loving eye of an elder sibling who has seen it all before. Your interest shifts toward the study of natural laws and the mechanics of the universe, as described by Kardec, seeking to understand the harmony that governs the return. You are aligning your intellect with the universal mind, preparing to integrate back into the collective wisdom of the spirits of light. This mental expansion makes you feel large, encompassing the history of the earth while remaining detached from its tragedies, focused entirely on the radiant horizon of the spiritual world. The culmination of these signs is a total, assassinating peace, a serenity so profound that the prospect of leaving the earth becomes as joyous as the thought of returning home after a long and exhausting journey. You have made your peace with your history, you have distributed your love, and you have settled your moral accounts. You stand at the threshold of the great transition, not with the trembling hands of a prisoner, but with the steady gaze of a graduate who has mastered the curriculum of the flesh. Allan Kardec's final message for us is one of immense hope. Death is the grand liberation, the shedding of the heavy chains of matter and the rebirth into a state of vibrant activity and infinite love. Your soul is now fully awake, and you understand that your mission of service and love will continue on the other side with even greater power. Embrace these signs with gratitude, for they are the invitations to the most beautiful voyage you will ever take. The earth has been a good teacher, but you have outgrown her classrooms, and the family of light is waiting at the gates with music and open arms. Walk forward with courage and joy, knowing that you are eternal, you are beloved, and you are finally going home. The journey you have taken through this existence was designed to refine the core of your being, and as you recognize these signs of transition, know that you have succeeded in your primary task of spiritual growth. Every difficulty you faced and every love you shared has become a permanent part of your spiritual tapestry, providing the colors that will define your experience in the world of light. You have learned to see the invisible and to value the intangible, which are the primary skills needed for life beyond the material veil. As you continue your days on earth, move with the grace of one who knows the destination, sharing your peace and clarity with all who are still lost in the illusions of matter. Your presence is now a beacon of hope for others, a living testament to the survival of the spirit and the power of divine love. When the moment of return finally arrives, you will step across the line not as someone losing everything, but as someone finally coming into their true inheritance. Your spirit is ready for the flight, your heart is full, and the infinite horizon is waiting for you to take your place among the stars.